It's not just a crawl space. I have not figured out a graceful way to get down here. Not gonna lie. Where's the step? There it is. Okay. Bucket. You're coming too. Come on. And I say it's a basement because there's actually stairs here that used to lead up to the kitchen. So what you hear gurgling away down here is the current sump pump, but we have a problem. This sump pump, the switch that turns it on and off essentially, right? It's a float switch. It quit working, so it's just constant running. A constant running pump is eventually going to burn up, and then we're not going to have a sump pump. Problem is, you guys can see, we have water steady flowing in from the side over here. Because we've had 2 weeks worth of rain non-stop. So, we got our muck boots on, we have to replace a pump. We got to do this smart though. I did a lot of planning ahead of time so we can be smart about this. Otherwise the water is going to continually rise in here in the garage, or in the basement, and we have an air conditioning unit and a hot water heater in here, so that could be very, very bad very quickly. This is the old hot water heater. They didn't take it out because it's a pain to get out of here. So we gotta shut this down. This is gonna be a little bit sketchy. I'm gonna turn this off so you're not blinded. That's my new headlamp. Olight just sent it to me yesterday. Isn't that cool? I'll leave a link in the description for you. This is an awesome headlamp. Super duper bright. That was like the lowest brightness setting. It does red light, it does strobe, it does all that stuff. I'll also put a link in the description for this pump. This is Basement Watchdog, is what it's called. It's a half horsepower pump, 50 gallons per minute. It's a significant upgrade over the one that's in there. The coolest thing about it is this is a float switch. So the float switch is replaceable in case it goes bad. That was super important. They didn't have a 1-inch pipe to, I think it's called National Hose Thread, NHT. I think that's what it's called. But it's just like garden hose thread. They didn't have a 1-inch pipe to garden hose adapter. So, this is what I came up with. Don't need the valve, but that's what we got. So the first step is going to be to cut that pipe off. I need to attach a soft hose to it, just a regular garden hose. Have to adapt it over so that we can continue to pump water out while we assemble the new pump and the rest of the plumbing as we tie into the existing piping that pipes it out of the house. Of course, in order to do so, we got to kill power to the pump, and the water's going to rise while we're doing that. So that's, we got to work diligently, and that's, I spent a lot of time planning ahead on this. That way we had everything that we needed down here when the time came, because I do not want to have to stop and run and grab tools, or God forbid have to go get more parts and I'm missing something right in the middle of it as the water continues to rise. We've got about 30 minutes. I kind of measured it and determined I got about 30 minutes before it gets real hairy down here. We do have the muck boots on, just in case, but that won't save the air conditioning unit. We also need to dig out that sump because there is some debris and dirt and stuff like that in there that we really don't want to suck up to the new pump. I would like to replace the sump hole, the pump bucket, I don't know what it's called. I would like to replace it, but it's all rusted and just deteriorating and whatnot, but we're not going to be able to do it right now just because the water level is so high as far as groundwater. So we're going to have to wait on that. Right now, we'll do the best we can right now to get this pump in, at least get it to where our basement is protected. This switch assembly, it's a 2-float switch, so see the one on the bottom? When that moves up, I think it's 3/4 of an inch, something like that, it activates the pump. If that one fails, then the top one will work. And then after it drops down, if the water level drops, it'll continue to run for 10 seconds. So it will pull all the water out of the sump basin. It's a really loose fit. Why'd that slide in so easy? Open that valve. That pump back in there. Water level is rising. We're gonna let that cure for just a minute before I kick that pump back on. This might work. So about 5 minutes and it's already up over the edge of the hole, so you can, yeah, it could get bad real quick. We're gonna let that cure as long as we possibly can. I'm gonna assemble the rest of the parts while we're waiting on that. Needs about 15 minutes, you know, to get a decent cure. It's 2 hours before you can apply pressure, but we're not really putting pressure just because the pipe at the other end is just open, so it's not gonna be under any pressure, just flow. But there is gonna be a little bit of pressure because you got a reduction from a 1-inch pipe down to a 1/2-inch garden hose. So just to be on the safe side. And that's not permanent, that's just for right now, you know, while we're assembling the permanent portions of this project. So this pump has an 1.5 inch opening, and we're going to reduce down to a 1-inch. I don't think it's going to be an issue to do that at all, but 1-inch pipe is what we had in here already, and we don't need that kind of capacity, that full GPM that this thing will put out, so I'm not really concerned with it. Yeah, that's good. She's in there. I didn't get any pipe tape, dang it. It'd be alright, it'd be fine. Putting the fitting on the pump itself, so like I said, we have 1.5 inch reduced down to 1 inch. I have, yeah, this has got so many threads in it, I have no qualms with not putting pipe dope on here. It's not like it's, you know, if it leaks a little, it's not going to hurt anything. It's in a sump pump, so it's just going to pump the water out anyway. These are Knipex adjustable, the Knipex adjustable wrench. If you don't have one of these, let me tell you, you are missing out. Being able to use on PVC, copper piping, like literally any kind of fitting. I've busted lug nuts loose with this set, this exact set right here. It is super strong, so it leverages your grip strength to grab hold of whatever you're turning, and they're ridiculous. I'll link this set in the description, but Knipex, I don't know. All right, let's get the big pipe on. So the float switch really just attaches to the pipe. It's that simple. So you can adjust the height of it. We're gonna put it pretty low though, because our hole is not really deep enough for what this is rated for. This should be in a 10-inch by 18-inch sump basin, and it's not. Breaking the rules. That's all right, it'll work. It'll work. Don't tell me my hose clamp is too big. Water's getting deep. It's starting to come up. Yeah, I'm gonna drop this as low as we can, so it sits right on top of that. Yeah, I think that'll, you know what we're gonna do? We're actually gonna rotate this around so it's kind of protected a little bit. This little area. Yeah, I like that better. I like that better. Let's let it keep it pretty dry down here. Okay. That is good. So it has a double connector plug, so this is for the switch, and what this does is this plugs into the wall, and then you plug the pump into this. So when this floats up, it activates inside this box, provides power to this plug, which then runs the pump, if that makes sense. Okay, we're in about 1 inch of water down here. I'm gonna cut this thing back on, and hopefully that holds. Everything's good. Should be fine. Like I said, it's not under pressure, but we did reduce it down a good bit. If it doesn't hold, we're gonna get really wet really quick. Let's see. Oh, go. See, didn't use pipe dope, so it's actually pushing water around the threads. But this one's just temporary anyway. Kind of makes me feel like I should take the other one apart and put pipe dope on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think I might do that. We'll let this one run though. This one's got to run, pump all the water out so that we can start digging out the dirt and debris in the bottom of that basin. Alright, our water level is going back down pretty quick. Kind of quick. I had to sit there about 10 minutes and wait for it to catch back up. Once that pump gets down, we'll start digging out the yuck and put it in the bucket so we can carry it up and out of here. I'm going to have to keep putting the pump back in. That's the reason why we have the garden hose, the flex hose, hooked up to it. So we can pull the pump out, clean it out, put the pump back in to draw the water out again, and repeat that process over and over until we get it good and clean. I've also got a brick to set the new pump on so that it's not sitting down in the silt, you know, in case there's any left behind. This pump is actually smoking. We might have less time than we thought. Man, I really want to get that dirt out of there. Let's go ahead and plug it. Let's deal with it. Makes me nervous with it smoking like that. Alright, let's get that out of the way. I can feel a hard bottom, so that's reassuring. Don't worry, I know a little small shovel would be best. I couldn't find one. The closest thing I found was a little kid's sand shovel, and it broke within 20 seconds. So this is the best we got right now. Oh, it's just silt, though. It's so soft. Don't know if you know this, but Florida dirt is a large percentage sand. I guess that kind of goes without saying, right? It's Florida. It's also really crazy to have a basement in Florida. Very unusual. People are always shocked when they hear we have a basement. I don't want to put that new pump in here. That dirty, nasty water. So, we're going to try the old one again and hope for the best. Don't blow up, little pump. You only got a few minutes left, and I'll let you retire in the garbage. I think that's about the most we're gonna get out of there as far as the silt is concerned, but I think we'll be good. Feels good, looks good. Oh yeah, gosh, that's a lot cleaner than it was. Alright, we're gonna get this thing positioned. I'm gonna drop a brick in here. So it's got something to sit on. That'll help for sure with keeping it from sucking things up that it shouldn't. You know, like tree roots that are growing into the basin and sticks and garbage. Yeah, see, that's gonna get deep before it kicks on. Maybe we can drop that flood a little bit lower. How low can you go? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like that. Yeah. That'll do it. The lower it is, the higher chance it has of running dry anyway, so. Know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that'll be good. It'll go up to here before it kicks on. Then run for 10 seconds. Just follow the instructions, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Now we gotta connect this pipe up here. We do have extra couplings, which I would highly recommend having, just in case it doesn't go exactly as planned. Man, I couldn't have gotten any closer with that cut. Goodness sakes. Chamfer the edges a little bit. Rough up the contact surface for the glue. Then we're going to prime it. Do the same to our slip coupler. So oftentimes, I get comments on videos because people know me as a family vlogger, and I was a mechanic before that. But this isn't mechanic stuff. This is just I don't want to pay someone else to do something I can do. That's pretty much how it transpired. How I came to learn all this stuff. Alright, that freaked me out. Priscilla's running the sink right up above us here, and I heard water flowing. I thought we were having a problem. A liberal amount of glue on all surfaces. And then, here. And we go here. And then we got to route the wiring for it. I'm just going to basically tie wrap it to this pipe so it's not just dangling, and then we'll unhook the old one. Okay, so water level is definitely high enough. We're over the switch now. It's actually really high. It's flowing fast for some reason. That's weird. Holy cow, why did our water speed up so much? Is it because I was scraping the bottom? Crap. Okay, we're gonna plug this in. This is the switch portion plugged in. Now we just have to connect the pump to the switch. I did leave the other pump still hooked up just in case we need her, just in case something goes wrong. You should probably test your equipment before you use it, but oh, we're flowing. Oh, it's fast. I had to time lapse that other one. Holy cow, and it's quiet too. I'm in love. All right, let's see how low it gets before it shuts off. Perfection. Hey, it beats the heck out of it constant running, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's perfect. Yeah, it's just gonna run for 10 seconds now. Right down to the top of the pump intake. And it shuts off. Perfection. Oh, you know what it did say to do? It said to drill an 1/8" hole in the pipe. I don't know why. Let's look that up. Okay, so if you had a check valve in here, basically what a check valve does, it only allows water to flow one direction. So the check valve arrow would be pointed up and it won't allow water to flow back into the pump. If you had a check valve in here, you would drill an 1/8" air bleed hole right above the float. So we don't have that, so we don't need it. But notice the pipe is sloped downward, so anything that is pumped up, even when the pump shuts off, it continues to flow out like that. This is not abnormal for this pump to kick on this many times. When we have this much rain, this much water, the other pump would do the same thing. So I'm not worried about that at all. This is absolutely normal for it. This thing, I'm leaving her down here because we know it pumps water. We know that it works. So in case of an emergency, at least I got something I can hook up real quick to a hose and pump water out of the basement. So we're gonna leave that hooked up there, or just leave it sitting down there for a rainy day. But job is complete. So this should have a modern day sump basin, should have a lid on it and all that jazz, and this one does not. So that will be a future project that's going to require us to bust out concrete, pull that out, dig the hole deeper, and put in a real basin, so we can eliminate the issue of sediment getting into our pump and stuff like that. But for the most part, I mean, she's looking pretty good. It is filling fast, my goodness. And this is why a basement is so ridiculous in Florida. So the ground level is, obviously right here at the brick, right? You can see the ground levels there. So we're a good 4 feet, 3.5 feet below ground level in here. And the water table in this part of Florida is really high right now because of all the rain that we've had. So it's just not a normal thing. I know lots of places around the country and the world have basements. We don't have them here. I'm calling it a basement. I don't care if you think it's a crawl space. If I can stand up in it, it's a basement. All right. Want to see something really cool? This is an old breaker box. All right, no, but it opens. So this basement was open at one time, you know, to have access to the electrical. But yeah, old breaker box down here, not hooked up to anything. Look at the old paper wrapped wires that came down here. It's crazy, isn't it? They used to insulate wires with paper. It's just so absurd to see something like that next to like our under cabinet LED light controller and stuff, you know? It's wild. But the reason why we have an air conditioning unit in our basement is because it's a 100-year-old house. They were not built for AC units. So we also have one in the attic upstairs, which is just two absurd places to have AC units. Man, I like it. It's super quiet and it pumps a lot more water than the old one did. All right, now we just got to run a hose from this pipe out to the front yard, because right now it's dumping right next to the foundation, and that just doesn't make any sense. We're just putting water right back into the ground to, you know, a full cycle going on here. So we're actually pumping it out near the street right now, just to in the front yard, to try to help it out a little bit so we can get a little less waterlogged around here. Job complete. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.